I think it's so interesting when people ask me, so how do you feel about your story? I said, it's normal for me. I don't know anything else. But then again, normality is perhaps something we create.
I think so. But for sure, your teenage story is a little different than most teenagers.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I've been wondering that then myself, but I haven't come to a conclusion yet.
I think so. I mean, we wouldn't be here if it was normal.
That's true.
So? You remember Søren?
Hey? No, who's that?
The producer?
See you, Siggi.
Well.
Welcome.
And this is Anna.
Hi, nice to meet you. Right now we're copying 1,492,000 files.
That's a lot of files. And these files are what?
Blogs, photos, videos, everything about WikiLeaks, my life, everything.
Just before filming, you start eating candy.
You told me to get some.
Why you didn't do that when we had a 20 minutes?
You said you want some, so I had to go in and get one.
Well, now we have to wait until you finish your candy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's go.
I was involved in hoping to...
Well, Julian returns to Iceland and we agreed to meet. I don't remember where, but it was at his hotel downtown. Julian took up his computer, which was a very small computer, and he started downloading something from a server somewhere, which was the video that got later known as collateral murder.
Can open the courtyard. All right, I estimate there's about 20 of them. Oh yeah. Cambridge Men's Element, got that white six. That's a weapon. Yeah. 226 Steelers 18.
The video is about an Apache helicopter hovering over Baghdad, and they find a group of individuals, group of civilians as well as some journalists. The Apache helicopter notices that they have something in their hands, which is basically a Canon camera. They were just photographers for the news agency Reuters. But the Apache helicopter notices that this might be an RPG, a grenade launcher. So they decide to open fire on this group of individuals.
Let me know when you have it. We'll shoot. Light them all up.
202 traffic, 260.
Come on, fire. I ride it. Shoot. Shoot.
My reaction to the collateral murder video was just that it was disgusting to see something like this. If you look at the way they speak, they just shot a human person to pieces, and they just, haha, look at this guy crawling. They think it's funny. They think it's a video game.
God damn it, Kyle. Sorry. I hit my head.
It's disgusting looking at this. My friends were playing Call of Duty, and they were actually playing a mission that wasn't so far away from the video I just watched. So I was quite disgusted by the similarities between a video game and some live or actual footage of people being killed. So, well, I haven't played that game ever since.
Bushmaster 7, go ahead. Bushmaster 7, crazy 418. Location of bodies, Mike Bravo, 5458.
Oh, it's their fault for bringing their kids to a battle.
That's right.
I just drove over a body. Yeah.
After WikiLeaks released, the video of WikiLeaks became famous overnight. It became the biggest talking subject in the entire world in a matter of few hours. The Pentagon confirmed the authenticity of the video, so it got a lot more attention. Reuters had been trying to obtain the video for years, but without success. So the attention it brought to the intelligence community, to the war in Iraq, WikiLeaks just became the #1 enemy in 24 hours. And I remember waking up and seeing on every single news station, it didn't matter if it was Icelandic, US, a UK one, or a Danish one, every single news outlet was covering the video that had just been released. So at that time, being 17, you think it's incredibly cool that you're part of something that's making headlines around the world. Originally, I thought Julian was just some maniac with great fantasies like many anarchists are. But he was actually an anarchist that eventually pulled through. He did something that meant something. He wasn't all talk. But my initial view on Julian was that he was just some crazy person. Well, he is a crazy person, but in a good way.
We have the chance to turn the pages over. We can write what we want to write. We gotta make things leak so we can get much bolder. We're all wiretapped now. We're all being fed lies. Not long till we get all the rats out. Once we turn on all the lights, you're the light that the world's demanding. Make it bright and make things clear.
So then at that time you think, oh wow, this is cool. But as I said before, the implications is something I'm still understanding today.
More fallout tonight from those thousands of pages of leaked U.S. state secrets on the WikiLeaks website. The State Department has now cut off one U.S. military computer network from its database of diplomatic cables.
The United States strongly condemns the illegal disclosure of classified information. It puts people's lives in danger, threatens our national security, and undermines our efforts to work with other countries to solve shared problems.
The diplomatic cables were one of the parts that WikiLeaks released that contained information about diplomatic communications between U.S. embassies and their allied nations, as well as other nations around the world.
Well, this leak is an outrage, and it's going to cause incalculable damage to American diplomatic efforts around the world.
And one of my jobs was to travel the world with this information. For Cablegate, I traveled to Holland, Hungary, France, Honduras, Mexico. If I would have been arrested, I would probably still be sitting in a U.S. jail, because the statute of penalty in the U.S. regarding classified information is decades of years in prison, you know. And I'll promise you, we were not allowed to have this sort of information in our possession. We weren't journalists, so we couldn't hide behind that idea. We were just a group of guys traveling with classified information.
Han rejser for WikiLeaks, og han synes, det er ubehageligt at rejse alene, og han er begyndt at føle sig lidt truet. Har nogle forestillinger om, at det kan være, at statsagenter følger med ham, fordi de vil rejse rundt med de her diplomatic cables. Og spørger mig så, om jeg vil med til Paris, og senere Venedig efter det, og være hans sådan sikkerhedsrådgiver. Og jeg siger, ja, okay, det er jeg parat til. Det er jo meget sjovt at prøve noget andet og gøre noget godt på den anden del af skalaen, som man så siger. Jeg har arbejdet i operationer mod Al-Qaida, mexikanske Zetas, Triad i Hongkong og Macau, pirater Singapore, Somalien, sejlet Yemen. Jeg har aldrig vil være lejesoldat per se. Jeg altid synes, det var forkert. Men jeg vil gerne beskytte folk. Så jeg synes, det er helt i retten at være sikkerhedsvagt til at beskytte andre mennesker eller livvagt. Men jeg har dog altid sat stregen ved at være lejesoldat. Så jeg kan sidde herinde nu, og jeg kan finde 100 metoder på, at jeg kan dræbe dig nu med 100 forskellige ting herinde, inden noget kommer ud af døren. Jeg kan se sikkerheden, jeg kan se, hvor jeg vil bryde ind, jeg kan se, hvordan jeg kan køre en bil og sådan noget. Det er sådan noget, det kommer naturligt, jeg behøver slet ikke tænke over det. Og jeg kan ramme alt, hvad jeg skyder på, hvis jeg får lov at røre mig, får lov at løbe og rulle og springe og sådan nogle ting. Så de har altid været naturlige for mig.
Say, this is an exercise. You know my name is Dan, and I'm called Priest. You call for me. You ask for Dan, called Priest. Do you understand that?
Dan, called Priest.
Go, go! That's not your name, man. You're stupid fuck. No. Contact.
Jeg har altid været farvet over det, at han blev sendt alene til Honduras, 17 år gammel. Og der har han faktisk ikke nogen penge. Så han fik billetten der fra hvad det hedder, WikiLeaks, og han fløj ud til Honduras. Honduras er et af de farligste lande i verden. Det er de lande, hvor der er mest kriminalitet. Flest mord og flest sådan gangs, og der er meget kidnapping derude, og der er meget røveri, og folk bliver dræbt. Man vil ikke udenbart sige, når man rejste bare derovre. Jeg kan slet ikke forstå hans forældre. Jeg kan slet ikke forstå WikiLeaks, at man kunne forestille sig at sende sådan en 17-årig blåøjet dreng derude.
stuttu eftir að hann var 18 ára gamall. Þá kemur hann hérna heim og segist vera komið farmiða frá Julian og hann sé að ferðast Suður Ameríku á vegum WikiLeaks og hann verður með lífverði með sér og hitt einhverju blaðamenn þar og svona. Og þá var mér eiginlega nóg boðið. Þá eiginlega sagði hann hingað ekki lengra, ég vill ekki þú farir einn af flakkum Suður Ameríku á vegum þess, en hann var orðinn 18 og sagðist fara saman. Og hann sagði, já, og þá baði hann að gefa mér upp síma hjá hann og Kristinn Raps. Ég vildi tala við hann og ég fekk aldrei númeri hjá honum. Þannig ég reyni að hafa upp á númerinu hjá hann í símaskrá hérna. Finn loksins númerið og ég hringi og hann ansaði mér aldrei. Og ég þá beðið númeri hjá Julian og ég fekk það heldur ekki á Sigga. Og svo fór hann. Ekki með, hann fór eiginlega í óþökk okkar.
And so you're traveling with the bodyguards. Is it true that you also travel with a teddy bear?
No. Yes. Yeah, I traveled because ever since I was a kid, I've had the same teddy bear. His name is Bumbi. He traveled every single country with me. To me, it feels safe to have the teddy bear because I know he's never gonna stab me in the back.
So you were, in fact, traveling with bodyguards and a teddy bear and the biggest leak in world history.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it looks disastrous. But yes, that's true. It was really funny. The people we were meeting, they actually thought Dan was the WikiLeaks representative traveling with his son. And you should have seen the faces of the editor-in-chief when he found out that Dan was my bodyguard, not my father. And I was actually the WikiLeaks representative.
I Paris, der overlod jeg lidt til ham, sådan han var chefen inden for WikiLeaks på det tidspunkt i mine øjne, ikke? Og det var ham, der styrede, så jeg sådan tillod ham at styre tingene sådan lidt, men jeg lavede hurtigt mærke til, at han var en teenager, og hvis vi skulle møde kl. 10, så blev jeg næsten nødt til at sparke ud af sengen kl. 9 om morgenen, fordi så sov han stadigvæk, fordi han havde siddet på internettet til kl. 4-5 om natten, ikke? Så den tredje dag der, så får jeg så nok, så begynder jeg bare at vække om og sige, nu skal du gå i brugsbad, nu skal du, som om det var min søn. Så jeg sparker ham lidt i røven og begynder at opdrage ham, og han spiser McDonald's hele tiden og elsker McDonald's. Det har man ikke på Island. Det er jo igen sådan noget, man sidder og ryster på hovedet. Vi er i Paris. Og så skal man ud og spise McDonald's, fordi det er ved chefen. Det er jo simpelthen til at græde af. Men altså, sådan stille og roligt, så får vi sådan et forhold, hvor vi kører rundt sammen, og vi leger cykler, og vi cykler sammen, og jeg ser på seværdigheder mellem de der møder. Og selvfølgelig igennem de her ophold og tider sammen, så opstår der sådan et nært venskab. Man får et helt andet kammeratskab på den måde, ikke? Og jeg lærer Siggi meget godt at kende.
We were walking the streets of New York, and we got this great idea to enter a spy shop. And in a spy shop, we found a pepper spray pan. We went back to a hotel, and we got this idea to try out the pepper spray, just to make sure if you got attacked, it worked. And yes, later on, we went on a meeting with Forbes magazine. We had the editor-in-chief. And my eyes were soaking red. And they asked me if I had been smoking pot and weed. I said, no, we were just playing with pepper spray. And you're right. In Hungary, I ended up in this strip joint. We went on inside and we got these two women approaching us and everything, and Dan told them, yeah, I'm his bodyguard. I had all the attention in the world from the two strippers. And Dan whispers into my ear, you know, I have Viagra if you want. And I was, no, trying to play the straight guy, you know. So I ended up accepting to take the Viagra just as fun. But at the time, you know, I didn't want to come out of the closet because I was too ashamed. And still today, I have a trouble saying to people that I'm gay, but I'm getting used to it, you know. but he has helped me a lot through a great deal of problems. And if it wasn't for him making me realize what I really had done bad, then I would probably have never have pled guilty in my cases. I would probably still be there and saying it was a mistake, the police fucked me, or I'm innocent, or whatever.
I was shooting yesterday, so it was raining, so they need to stand and dry for a while.
There's a flood or something at the dam. It's well, from day one after the release of Colero Murder, the helicopter video, I think Julian got paranoid, understandably.
How should governments deal with the WikiLeaks founder, Julian Assange? There's been lots of comments from other US commentators saying he should be treated as a traitor.
There have been threats to his life. There has been an incitement to commit murder by people in high places, which is outrageous.
Well, I think Assange should be assassinated, actually. I think Obama should put out a contract and maybe use a drone or something. You know, there's no good coming of this.
To some, a hero. To others, a villain. The legal net has now closed in on the WikiLeaks founder.
He's also being sought by Interpol, alerting police that he's on their most wanted website.
The founder of the WikiLeaks website, Julian Assange, has been arrested in London over allegations of rape and sexual assault, which he denies.
The decision to reopen the case follows an appeal by a Swedish woman who accused Mr. Assange of raping her.
维基解密创办人性侵细节遭解密。英国《卫报》日前报道，维基解密创办人艾桑吉在瑞典。
Julian Assange denies any wrongdoing and says the allegations are part of a smear campaign.
I'm asking whether or not you...
I'm going to walk. If you're going to contaminate us revealing the deaths of 104,000 people with attacks against my person.
I'm not. What I'm asking is if you feel that it's an attack on WikiLeaks.
Sorry.
I have to ask that question, Julian.
It's obvious, simple as come on.
Mr. Assange's lawyers fear a fair trial in the US would be impossible, as the leaked embassy cables have provoked such outrage in Washington.
Facing sex allegations against 2 women in Sweden, the WikiLeaks founder was finally granted bail. Next stop, Ellingham Hall.
I was afraid that with everything going on, with my participation into hacking things, that I might end up spending time in a US prison. The philosophy of the organization changed. It wasn't anymore about obtaining leaks from government officials or people within corporations. It was now more focused on hacking something, hacking into things, and leaking in the information that way. And by doing that, you're no better than the criminals working for the NSA or the Central Intelligence Agency. So WikiLeaks just became a doomed organization. Julian thought that everybody were working against him as a result of this paranoia thing. And the only people he trusted was the people he knew before everything started. Me, Kristen, Inge, other people. And so he started surveillance operations against people that were working for WikiLeaks, that were volunteers, etc. Even journalists, everything was searched without the knowledge of the person. So if you were a volunteer arriving at Ellingham, your luggage would be searched. But you wouldn't know it. I went through it very delicately.
And you did this on behalf of Julian?
Yes, everything, every surveillance ops was done on behalf of Julian. Julian got a copy of everything on the hard drives or the computers.
I think that the reason why Assange entrusted a teenager at the time for a lot of the activities is because he couldn't get anyone else to do it. Assange was extremely strict with me and Daniel and others to never leave a copy on our computers of any of the chats for security reasons. It was a part of a security protocol. And I remember it very vividly because in the early days, I had forgotten nobody had taught me how to erase it immediately, the logs. And Assange spent full 15 minutes screaming at me for having kept the logs accidentally. Where it's obvious that Siggi kept all the logs of all our conversations. That's bizarre, that he would be given access, and so much access that he could copy the hard drive of a computer and not only give it to the FBI, but leak it.
Yeah, in August 2011, I sent an email to the U.S. Embassy of Iceland stating that I had information regarding an ongoing criminal investigation in the United States. I say to the man on the other line, this is information regarding the investigation into WikiLeaks. The man was like an automatic machine. We have no investigation into that matter. And I basically just told him we both know otherwise. If you want to meet, I have some data you might be interested in. If not, then let's just end this, And he asked me to come down by the embassy. I thought I was going inside the embassy for further questioning. Then he said, well, let's take a walk, just so that he could monitor if I was being followed or not. So we ended up at a hotel downtown Reykjavik, where I was greeted in the meeting room by 2 federal agents. Then when I sat down, I realized, shit, what have I gotten myself into?
Innanríkisráðuneytið vissi af komu þeirra hingað til lands. Ríkislögreglustjóri og ríkissaksóknari segja að hópurinn hafi komið vegna rannsóknar á mögulegri tölvuárás á upplýsingakerfi stjórnarráðsins.
If it takes the FBI less than 24 hours to arrive to Iceland via private jet to investigate an 18, 19-year-old teenager, then there's something serious going on.
On August 24th, a plane with 7 to 9 FBI agents landed in Reykjavik. The FBI wanted to interview Sigurður Ingi Þórðarson and used him as an entrapment by having him contact Julian Assange in order to create proofs to be used in a criminal case against WikiLeaks.
WikiLeaks had no knowledge that I had sent the FBI any emails, email correspondence or anything. I told WikiLeaks that I had been contacted by the U.S. Embassy regarding an investigation and if I could meet them. Both Christian and Julian were aware that the FBI was conducting some operations here and were in fact interrogating me. Of course, the narrative that they got was not that I was going to give them documents or anything, but in a way this was an operation trying to get information from the FBI.
Ráðuneytisstjóri innanríkisráðuneytisins hafði samband við íslensku lögreglumennina og gaf fyrirmæli að íslenska lögreglan tæki ekki þátt í þessari aðgerð með FBI. En næstu 6 daga héldu FBI fulltrúarnir áfram að ræða við Íslendinginn hér á landi, þótt íslenska lögreglan mætti ekki taka þátt eða vera viðstödd.
Well, originally they asked me, well, you can basically choose where do you want to go. So I just said, I've never been to Russia, let's go to Moscow. They did not find that funny. They were very serious about that. So they suggested to go to Denmark. And the following evening, we left with an aircraft from Iceland Express to Copenhagen Airport.
Does this man look like an FBI informant to you?
One of Julian Assange's top volunteers for WikiLeaks was actually an FBI informant. 18-year-old Sigurdur Thordarson tells Wired magazine that the FBI paid him $5,000 for 3 months of spying back in 2011. He says the FBI flew him out of Iceland for 4 meetings and that he turned over 8 hard drives.
They kept questioning me and as well as copying data from me. So there we just cloned some of my hard drives, went to McDonald's to eat, and went back, and then I flew back to Iceland.
Sigurður Ingi Þórðarson eða Siggi hakkari hefur átt óvenjulegri úlingsára en flestir íslenski jafnaldra sínir. Hann óvissu það hvort hann muni bera vitni gegn Julian Assange í framtíðinni, en leggur áherslu á að sannleikurinn verði að komast í dagsljósið.
WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange may have temporarily foiled police if he remains holed up in Ecuador's London embassy. But if he leaves, he could face arrest, say British authorities. The 40-year-old Australian citizen is seeking political asylum in Ecuador and took refuge at its embassy Tuesday.
This is extremely worrisome, a very black day for journalism, I would say. I will continue basically the editorial policy that has been in place at WikiLeaks for years, I only took this new position because of the dire situation that Julian Assange is in.
I still today respect Julian. I don't consider him a friend anymore because we had a falling out, but I do understand his position. I understand what he's been through, everything. That's why I'm not sitting here saying he's a complete idiot or a maniac or something, because I do understand his background. I understand it completely. And Julian Assange is a great person. There's no doubt about it. He was just mixed up in some bad shit, you know. They don't realize, you know, the implication it has to your mental state. Like you and Dan noticed, I scream in the middle of the night without any provocation, you know. I don't know why. I don't remember it. But there's something wrong, you know. You're not supposed to scream. Before WikiLeaks, I managed to go to sleep at night with no hesitation. Now I have to take 4 sleeping pills to fall asleep, you know. The reason why I accepted to take a part in this project is so that my story can be heard with everything connected to it, so that people can then make a decision who I am. That's why I'm here. And eventually, hopefully, I'm a good bad guy, you know.
All right, thank you, Steve.
Yeah, no problem. So this is the queue I should walk out. Yeah.
There's a queue.
See. Well, there's Julian and Sarah that talking about something, okay? But you got the idea of the video.
So this was to prove that you were at Ellingham Hall and that you were WikiLeaks. Who are you communicating with here?
I have no idea. Just some guy.
That were willing to
assist WikiLeaks.
So what else would be on these archives? What else do you have?
Yeah, in the archives we have communications between me and Julian, between every single volunteer at WikiLeaks. We even had a communication between me and the FBI. Here it is. He would ask them, would you fuck a goat? Or would you have a dwarf give you a blowjob?
Is that your way of approaching the boys? Was that kind of like the pattern?
Basically, yeah.
In the end, there was no dwarf and there was no goat. It was just him.
Han er ikke idiot, altså. Han ved godt, hvad der er forkert og hvad der er rigtigt. Altså, det er ikke det. Han kan bare ikke styre sig. Han kan ikke lade være med at gøre det.
Key witness in Assange case admits to lies in indictment. Det er han enormt meget løjet.
Well, it makes you wonder how strong the case is if you have to find a con artist and a pedophile to do so.
Are you guilty?
To some extent, yes.